In 2008, three complete strangers were put together with the hopes of creating the greatest Sony podcast ever heard. Today, unable to stop podcasting, the show survives as connoisseurs of dick and fart jokes. If you need Sony news, are not deaf, and don't want to die of boredom, maybe you can listen to BigRedBarel Blu.
Welcome, everybody, to the Big Red Barrel PlayStation Podcast, a.k.a. the Blue Show, Episode 9.
You seem chipper.
You
seem a lot chipper.
That's a mouthful. I'm not used to that yet.
That's what she said, maybe?
We need to come up with a new slang way to shorten that down.
BRB Blu. Episode 9.
You're out of blue.
BRB Blu. All right. I'm Rothbart. I'm joining you from Eugene, Oregon, the Minecraft capital of Oregon. I've declared it. I do not understand my addiction with this game. I don't
understand either. Why it doesn't... You just like creating things, don't you?
Well, okay. No, actually. But before we get to why I like it, we need to... I want you to just name something that you've not said that you liked on the show before that you like. Because I don't think you like anything. Just tell me anything. It doesn't have to be a game. Just pick something you like and say it right now.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
I like pizza.
I think I knew that.
I like pizza too. I'm with you on that.
Okay. I like my
And he's really struggling to think of something he likes.
I like the new Google Plus layout.
Of course you do.
You would.
What? Well, you don't? Speaking of, Pac-Man, you've been using and abusing Google Plus like crazy.
Frawlz is single-handedly keeping Google Plus going.
What? You've been quite the Google Plus evangelist. Actually, Pac-Man has been pretty active, but you have been, since day one, a Google Plus evangelist. I mean, you've just been praising everything about it, and you're sick of Facebook and this, that, and the other. Although you do take time out of your busy day to post pictures of you bench-pressing dudes on Facebook.
Wow.
True story.
I can just leave it at that because that's 100% true.
It's true. I did. I was bench pressing a guy, and I put it on Facebook.
Yes, you were. And I don't want to talk about that anymore because it frankly makes me uncomfortable.
Why? Let's continue talking about it until we can fight. Let's fight through the
Nope, I think this is a video game podcast, so it's a little closer to topic to go back to the Minecraft thing. It's actually, I can sum it up, it's not the creation, it's the exploration that I like, which you may be able to relate to.
Dudes.
Subtle.
I could see the allure of creation mode or creative mode if you're playing in a multiplayer server, but on a single player server, which is all I do, the creative mode doesn't make sense to me. So I play single player survival mode, and there's just something that hooks me. You know, I always feel like, oh, if I tunnel 3 more blocks in, I'm gonna find a cavern or a stronghold or diamond or something.
Anybody getting a really vibe from this?
There's one coming from your end to us, but that's the only one I
don't know. Like, if I could tunnel in 3 more inches, I'm sure I can find another cavern.
I'm not touching that one. So, Pac-Man, how's it going in Canada?
It is going good.
You have to represent the entire Canada.
The entire Canada.
The entire all of it.
All of it. I mean, it's going good. I've been looking at the Mass Effect news, and PS3 is still getting zip as far as extras, because the PC and the 360 have been getting specialty weekends and these events and stuff, and the PS3 has still not gotten jack, and there's no ETA on when they are going to start getting some of these incentive packages.
Well, I heard they did deliver an additional frame per second to PS3 users. So it went from 20 to 21
frames.
Isn't
that just PS Plus
Well,
users?
I mean, the best thing about the PS3 is the recent patch. I'm not even sure if the PS3 got the recent patch, but the recent patch that came up for the 360 has caused a whole ton of problems.
Yeah, I think the new patch actually gets rid of any kind of inkling of core on your PS3. Just gets rid of it altogether.
But I mean, other than the Mass Effect 3 stuff, I'm about $50 away from my PSV.
Whoa, $50?
Yeah.
You know, Frawlz wasted $50 last week.
I did. Control the controllables.
I think Dave needs to put a moratorium on episodes named after you wasting money, because otherwise they would all just be named various amounts of money.
But I think it's pretty impressive. Like, I haven't been saving that long, so I mean, all I had to do was stop buying other games.
Well, by the time Resistance comes out, you'll have your PSV.
Yep, so I mean, I won't be able to get every game at the same time. Like, I will literally just have enough to get the system, and I'll probably angle it to get a bundle of some sort. But
you should find somebody that has a PSV and Uncharted and borrow it from them, because I mean, it's not the kind of game that somebody's going to play a lot. They're going to play it and beat it and maybe play it a second time, but after that, somebody can probably loan it to you for a couple weeks and not miss it.
Because there's nothing else coming out.
But I'm really looking forward to that. So that's my next big plan, and then after I have that, then I'll be back into picking up new releases and whatnot. But there's not really a lot coming out till Prototype 2 is I guess the next semi big named game.
Starhawk.
But doesn't Prototype 2 come out before Starhawk?
Starhawk's May 8th, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Prototype 2 is the end of this month.
And it's gonna be the poops.
I don't know. I like the first one.
Nope. I'm holding out for Infamous 3.
I actually, you know what? I did watch their weapons demo trailer for Prototype 2, and it was kind of uninspiring. It didn't look half as fun as using your claws and jumping from helicopters.
I never got into the first one. Anyway, Frawlz, I think I have come up with a new term for you. You're a Google Plus evangelist and a gaming devangelist.
Gaming devangelist?
Yes.
Don't play games.
That is totally apt.
You're just down on everything gaming. Everything's dumb.
I'm not. I'm just kind of in my own world right now. I'm watching Misfits. I'm catching up on shows. I don't know.
I'm just waiting for Frawlz to be hipster enough to start calling things bad because only hipsters like them. Because that's a great new hipster trend, is to call other things bad because
that game's
only
too
hipsters
original.
like them.
It doesn't have any aspects of games I like. That one's too much like that other game.
I enjoy games that are nothing like other games. I enjoy games that aren't even games.
You know what? Pixel junk.
Hipster
Sucks.
Yeah.
If you like pixel junk, you're a hipster. But if you don't like pixel junk, you're also a hipster. And if you complain about what I'm saying about pixel junk, you're a hipster.
I'm confused.
Basically, it means everyone's a hipster if you say anything ever, and if you use hipster, then you yourself are automatically a hipster. And in the gaming context, it just means that everyone's just sort of peeing on each other over the internet.
That's now I get that. I like that.
Now you've piqued his interest. God. All right, let's get on to this agenda because I spent time writing it, so I would like to go through it.
We will justify your efforts.
Have you guys signed up for Instagram at all?
I have.
Why
am I not surprised that you're down on gaming, but there's a new app out for Android that's been out for the iDevices forever?
I don't know. I just figured I'd ask you guys because it's kind of like, it's dumb.
Hey, we agree. Let's take pictures and make them look really old and faded, and we'll get bought out for $1 billion.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. $1 billion for Instagram? What the f***?
And then you know what Frawlz tells me, we're chatting, he's like, yeah, Google should just buy him for $2 billion just for the hell of it.
They could have. That dick move.
I could see Frawlz if he was like a CEO of these big companies. There would be like an article on CNN, Frawlz wastes $50 billion.
It's just like frat boy logic, corporate takeovers.
Misspells name.
God. All right, let's get to... I forgot to talk about the tester last week. I watched the entire season. I did not realize this. Somebody pointed out that Screw Attack has the videos with commentary that go along with them, and apparently they're pretty entertaining. I've not seen them. But I watched all of Season 1, 2, and 3. By far, hands down, Season 3 was the most entertaining, had the best prizes to make the people really give a crap about the contest. And with the exception of one or two people, I thought they had a pretty solid group to choose from. But did either of you guys watch any of the episodes?
I've only watched episode 1 of this season. I haven't watched the whole season yet.
And Frawlz, did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, most of them.
There was only 9.
I say I missed like the last three.
So what did you think? Did you think it was any better, or did you watch any of the previous seasons to compare it to?
I think it was better. I mean, it was comparable to second season, I think. It was just kind of the same core. I think it had the challenges were a little bit more tailored to the type of job that they were actually going to have, as opposed to just sitting there and, guessing the differences between pictures within a few seconds. I mean, the first interview portion was actually pretty good, except for the fact that I don't know. It's just it seems like they're just trying to make it better, but I feel like there's just some sort of limit, just some sort of like a piece of corniness that goes with it that doesn't make you take any of it seriously. Like, you don't really care.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure how serious you're expecting to take a TV show, a reality show. I mean, I watch Survivor, which has got all the production value in the world, but I don't take it seriously. I mean, and at the end of the day, I don't really care.
Maybe not take it seriously, but Survivor's not done in 1 week. Like, this show is, like, even though they say it's done, like, next week we're going to be doing this. No, it's all done in 1 week. It's like 7 days. They do one challenge after the next.
But how does that detract from anything?
It doesn't really give you enough time to really kind of like build a relationship internally. I think they just find each other on the surface annoying, or they like each other, and that's pretty much it. I think.
So you think it's lacking relationships?
I think it's lacking a lot of just internal conflict and relationship building.
Man, it needed more side boob and knife fights.
There's zero. There's not a single woman on that show you'd want to see side boob from.
Speaking of which, Suskaiden, the most annoying person I've seen on any season, even more than that Star Screamer, whatever, Star Slayer, whatever the hell her name
come on,
was.
she's not that bad.
Suskaiden was obnoxious, and she's trying out for Maxim's Gamer Girls.
Disgusting. She's gross in so many levels.
The funny thing is that anyone even reads Maxim anymore.
Well, I've looked at Maxim, but I wouldn't call it reading.
You can't even jerk off to Maxim. It's like so airbrushed.
But anyway, what I was getting at is, if there were only 9 episodes of The Tester 3, and in several of those episodes, she was on camera without makeup on, and I realize some women look quite different with makeup on, but she looked 100% different without makeup on, and she needs to always have makeup on. And keep her mouth shut.
Oh, snap.
So her voice was so high-pitched and annoying and loud, I would have really had an issue if I was in the house with her. But anyway, she didn't win. Achilles Might, the military background guy, his real name is Wilson Santiago, he won. And I think, from almost the first episode or two, he was out in front as a good example of the type of person you would want to work with. And he basically carried that through, almost lost his lead at the very end. But it was an interesting show. And Frawlz, we didn't know this when you were almost on the show, but they really upped the ante in terms of prizes that you could win this time. So,
right. Yeah, nobody really knew about the car, but the 2 years free car insurance, for real?
Yeah, and, the job is no longer an entry-level tester, which is funny because the show's Tester. It's a production assistant on a AAA title at Santa Monica Studio.
They should have called the show Production Assistant.
The PA. But anyway, I hope they do a Season 4. The difference in quality from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 have me excited to see what would happen if they actually did improve it again. And I think the host, Meredith, is a little... Somebody needs to tell her what's appropriate to wear to host a game show. She seems okay, but it's like, here's my going out to the club clothes. I'm going to go host a game show. Here's my tight leather boots that go up to my thighs.
It's like she didn't go to bed overnight. She just went right to the studio.
But Brent Goki, the guy that's like always one of the judges, he's really solid on the show. And I don't know why they've got the self-proclaimed girl gamer model on there, but she actually asks some good questions and provides good feedback. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. We need to move on.
I think they should get rid of Adrian Curry next season. Absolutely. She's just nothing but just...
I think they could do better. She's not horrible, I don't think, but I think they could come up with somebody more topical. And absolutely no Greg Miller. That's my suggestion.
Beyond!
Yeah, they need to move beyond Greg Miller.
I'm happy you're on the show and all that, but, it really didn't make me like you anymore.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Douche.
Anyway.
Don't be a Greg Miller. We should just start that. Don't be a Greg Miller.
All right, in other industry news, this is not really related so much to PlayStation, but this is it's kind of near and dear to me because one of my early computers that I played a lot of games on was brought out by this guy, Jack Trammell from... Well, he was the founder of Commodore Business Machines, VIC-20, Commodore 64, the Amiga. The Amiga is what I had. And then he later went on to found Atari Corporation, which is not the Atari that you guys are probably thinking of. This is the Atari after they started winding down, after Warner Communications sold off the home computer and gaming division. But he passed away at the age of 83, and while I was reading this story, this was interesting. The Commodore 64 is the best-selling, to this day, single model of personal computer of all time. And depending on what you read, it's 12.5 to 17 million units of that specific model have been sold.
So, yeah, that's what happens when there's only two in the world.
Yeah. Things have advanced so much. There's so much competition and such rapid, we have to have a new model. This one's already hit the production line. It's just ridiculous what they're doing.
But still, a lot of work was done on the Commodore 64.
Oh, yeah. And
a lot
of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but I bet a surprising number of people that are developing games now got their start on machines like the Amiga or the Commodore 64. That piqued their interest in the industry, and they went on and moved with the cutting edge as it came along. But an interesting comment, somebody said he was almost the anti-Steve Jobs. He thought that computers should be utilitarian and cheap, and everybody should have access to them and have them, whereas Steve Jobs thinks they need to be elegant, expensive, designed, to the T. And it was an interesting thing. In his day, he was a pioneer of, a good portion of what became gaming. So,
rest in peace.
Yep. Frawlz.
Yes.
Do you remember when we talked about Sony losing, what was it, like $21 million an hour? Or something like that.
Yeah, it was an hour.
That's what we did the math. I can't remember what we came out with, but it was absurd.
It was something crazy. It was like every minute they lost like $10,000 or something.
Well, in February they estimated that for this fiscal year they were going to be posting a loss of $2.7 billion for the year.
Yeah.
Here we are, a month and a half later, and they're like, "Oh, it's not $2.7 billion; it's $6.4 billion, and it's the worst year we've had in a decade." And
holy balls!
Nice. I kind of wish we were recording tomorrow because Kaz Hirai is going to make an announcement to the investors about what their restructuring plan is. And I think Pac-Man's got a pretty good take. Pac-Man, you think they're going to get rid of a couple product lines or at least severely pare them down? What did you think they were?
Well, the big rumor and all the indications is that they're going to get rid of a huge portion of the LCD and their chemical lines, because Sony, unlike a lot of other companies, they're invested in software and hardware, and they have a lot of factories and then subsidiary companies that feed production, and it looks like they're going to gut that side of the business. Which makes sense because, like we were talking before the show, like at one time, depending where in the world you lived and which ones you had access to, they had something like 20 TVs, all models that came out within a 5-6 year period on the market at the same time. Which means that at some point, even if they had a limited run, there was X number of them made, and they didn't sell because they had so many models out. I mean, they took a bath on their TVs, and then you think of all the infrastructure that goes to support manufacturing on that level. They just couldn't. They're just going to have to totally wipe the board and get rid of all that expense.
And rumor is that they're going to be cutting as many as 10,000 jobs. So
yeah.
those you can almost guarantee will be not necessarily from gaming. There may be some gaming-related downsizing, but Sony is enormous, and as you pointed out, Pac-Man, they're in a lot of different areas, so it's not just
and the thing is, the easiest way to know where the job cuts are going to come is in the divisions from Sony where we know that they're not making profit, and we know for a fact that their TVs weren't making them money. They were spending way more than they were making. Whereas PlayStation and the PS3, despite all the hubbub, is still a profitable venture for Sony.
Barely.
But I mean, it's still really, really bad to lose $6.4 billion. Like, let's not pretend it's not. And 10,000 people may lose their jobs. I mean, that's not funny either.
I think maybe they'll cut the Sony Dash. Have you guys even heard of that thing?
The Dash?
Sony Dash?
Yeah, it's some little internet-enabled device you sit on your desktop.
I don't think anything should be called the Dash because someone's just going to replace the D with a G, and it's just going to get out of hand.
I think they're going to sell off their Sony Ericsson.
Well, no, they bought out Ericsson. It's just Sony.
That was a smart move.
Just sell that off because that's just a.
Hey, waste. Ericsson, you want to buy this cheap?
You want it back?
I don't know,
man.
But it'll be interesting to learn tomorrow what they do because it's going to be something big and aggressive.
Well, I mean, even money says that they're going to really scale back on some of their actual manufacturing side of the company and push a lot more into software and networks and probably phones and tablets in a much heavier way and start getting away from TVs and projections and all that other sort of manufacturing side of the big products.
Yep. I agree.
Or and maybe they'll get into space exploration or sentient robots.
I think I'm going to apply there for a job.
I think you should.
It's probably a good time.
Sounds good to me.
I mean, if they're gonna keep the job rec open while they're laying people off, that job must be pretty safe. Right?
Alrighty, let's move on. Speaking of, we were talking about Mass Effect earlier. Apparently, somebody at the Better Business Bureau said, "You know what? Yes." BioWare falsely advertised Mass Effect 3 when they said, quote, "The decisions you make completely shape your experience." That is a false, misleading quote for advertising the game.
How so?
Well, because people were making drastically different choices and basically getting the same ending. When it says every decision completely shapes your experience, that's implying that if you do one thing one way and then you do another thing another way, it's going to affect the ending.
The more damning advertising quote that they used that also came up in the charge was, where's the quote? "Along the way, your choices drive powerful outcomes, including relationships with key characters and the fate of entire civilizations, and even radically different ending scenarios." So, the big key there is radically different ending scenarios. That never happens.
So what happens now?
There are no radically different ending scenarios, and that's something that they use directly to sell it. And they're right. That's an outright lie.
I had a theory. What if BioWare predicted this, and instead of actually putting in work to make different endings in the game, they predicted somebody would play it, get their ending, be happy with it, then they would play through again, get the same ending, but they weren't counting that as the stop of their experience. They were counting the rage over seeing the same damn ending again as part of the second experience, and that was drastically different.
You know what? I wish. You know how like people videotape their reactions of like two girls, one cup. I almost wish a couple of my friends had videotaped their reactions to getting to the end of Mass Effect 3 because we'd already told them that it was going to be bad and they would be upset. And they're like, it can't be that bad. Blah blah. Artistic integrity. I wish I could just see in their face, when they beat it right before they go back on Twitter and he's like, all right, yeah, that did suck. Whether or not you believe that artistic integrity is is at stake here, or that for some reason video games should be treated exactly how we treat movies and TV shows, even though video games are often fixed and tweaked and changed in major ways after release. The end of Mass Effect 3, whether you didn't hate it or not, few people liked it, and they did outright lie. Those quotes are outright lies, straight up.
They're lying.
Hey, Frawlz, I've got this next topic reminds me of you. I know how you like to waste money.
Yes. Well, dude, come on, man. You waste money more than anybody in the world.
Well, there's a difference between wasting and spending.
Yeah, I don't know. Rothbart shops smart.
So, Resident Evil 6 is coming.
Like a coupon lady.
Yeah.
I gotta cut the coupons.
Yeah, not the coupons. You gotta get the points.
Resident Evil 6 is coming with a premium edition. Now, let me tell you what this has before I tell you how much it is, because you might want to stop wasting money on other stuff and save up a while. You're going to get...
I got a night with Leon.
You're going to get Resident Evil 6, the game. You're going to get 4 different tablet covers with the names of main characters of the game on them. Now, what tablet means, I couldn't make out. I don't know if they're considering it an iPad, just a generic, stretchy tablet cover that covers anything. Anyway, you also get a replica leather jacket like the one Leon wears in the game.
Like the brown one with the fur on the side?
Sure. I don't know. I mean, it's from Resident Evil 6, so if he's changed jackets, this will reflect that jacket. So you get a game, $60. You get a jacket. Let's be generous. We'll say it's a nice leather jacket and call it $200. So we're at $260. And
I've seen them a little bit more, like maybe $500.
Okay, let's go $560 then. And then you figure an iPad cover or whatever, you're going to be looking at least $50 times 4, so there's another $200. So we're at $760. You know how much they want? They want 105,000 yen, which works out to almost $1,300.
What? Are you serious?
Yes.
$1,300?
$1,300 for the premium edition.
You know there's going to be people that buy that crap too.
I just, I have...
You know that there's going to be a picture with like 7 Asians on Facebook one day all wearing the same jacket.
I don't know what to say. Capcom's out there. I mean, their next topic here... Pac-Man, you probably played Lost Planet 1, right?
I did.
What did you think of that game? I'm not baiting you. If you liked it, tell me. I want to know what you thought.
I didn't regret the purchase, but that game and the second one was worse. But the first one was almost there, but not quite. And it struck me as weird that they made a second one, and the fact that they're making a third one is even weirder.
So Little Big Planet, Lost Planet had a 79 cumulative Metacritic score. Lost Planet 2 had a 68 on Metacritic. So not only am I surprised that they're greenlighting Lost Planet 3, I don't know if they're going for the even 50 or what, but they handed it, it's not even going to be developed internally. They're handing it over to a Western developer. I guess they figure Devil May Cry and everything else is being done. Metal Gear Solid's going to be done in the US. So Spark Unlimited, who we've all heard of, not heard of, will be doing that using the Unreal Engine. So they're switching developers, they're switching engines completely, and I just don't even understand. You look at what they've done, and they did Legendary, which the only thing I remember about that is it was called Legendary the Box until like a month or two before it came out, and then they dropped the box.
I thought that was your girlfriend.
That was pretty legendary. And that had a 50 on Metacritic. And then they did Turning Point Fall of Liberty, which had a 39 on Metacritic.
Yeah, so the pedigree across the board here is pretty poor.
I think they're trying to subsidize it so maybe they can afford to produce some of these premiere editions. Or maybe the premiere editions are funding Lost Planet 3. I don't know what the deal is.
But the thing about the Lost Planet series is it was a lot more popular overseas than it was here. Considerably more. And there were aspects of it that people did like.
Mechs are cool.
Well, yeah, mechs are cool. The fact you're always playing in the snow, and the difficulty level was kind of sweet. But the one thing about the transition, more than switching developers, is, and I'm sure that they're changing out engines because they're switching developers. But the visuals for the first 2 Lost Planet games were actually not bad. They actually had some really cool looking stuff there when everything worked right. So I hope that they can at least make the game visually good on their new engine as they could on the old one. But I don't think that game's even going to be marketed the same way. They're probably going to market it almost as a reboot rather than a true third game with a new Western developer.
Maybe it's going to be starring Dante from Devil May Cry.
I like the new Dante. I don't give a what the old DMC fans think.
Yeah, you do.
The old Dante had a story that made no sense, and he looked like a guy that you could have taken out of any Final Fantasy game on a whim.
That's every Capcom game, though. They could put seriously every Capcom game together.
Capcom's losing it. They're losing their edge.
Well, I mean, some of those characters are so similar, it's just silly. Like, I love the first 2 Devil May Cry games. I played the hell out of them, but the last couple were mediocre at best. They needed a reboot badly. Because the last Bayonetta shit on Devil May Cry 4.
Resident, like, you know what it is about Capcom games? They're good at first, and then as you get into the storyline, it just gets dumber and dumber. And that's like every single Resident Evil game I've ever played. It's stupider and stupider, and there's always a president's daughter somewhere in them. It's weird.
What are you talking about? You didn't like Raccoon City?
Hey, before I forget, Pac-Man, you just reminded me. The Devil May Cry reboot's being done by Ninja Theory, who did Heavenly Sword, and you sent me an email earlier this week. Heavenly Sword is getting an animated movie.
Is it animated?
Well, I believe so, yeah. Yeah, no, it said animation. And the chick from Fringe, who I didn't realize at the time did the voice for the game, is doing the voice for the animation, too.
Yeah, and the rest of the cast is actually semi-recognizable actors, too, so...
I will definitely be checking that out, because that IP was pretty cool, I thought.
It is. I'm looking forward to the Devil May Cry HD pack as well. Just for the first 2 games predominantly, but that'll be cool.
Hey, Frawlz.
Core!
I just bought you a gift subscription to Core.
You did? You really? How long do I have it for? How long is it good for?
It's a year subscription.
Sweet.
But I'm pretty sure you're not going to get anything beyond this week. They canceled Core. You know, we need to talk about this because I said Sony canceled Core, or Future canceled Core, and you're like, good.
Yeah.
That was your response. Why good?
Good. That's part of the $6.4 billion loss.
No, it's not. They don't pay to make Core. Core is put out by Future Publishing. I mean, they're in their own financial trouble, but Sony doesn't pay.
I'm just listen. These online magazines on the I know I get it. PlayStation is trying to make like a TV show network, and it just doesn't make any sense. Core is not it would be better if it was streaming. It's not a streaming thing. You have to download the damn thing. It's stupid.
Yeah, but that's to ensure that you get decent quality, I think. And the fact that it's a whole custom app.
I can stream 1080p on my television from the internet.
Oh my god.
And I have to download a 5-minute thing of Core, which makes zero sense whatsoever.
That will give you time to pee, because you seem to always get on the phone with us, and then you're like, hold on, I'm peeing.
That's because it's fight or flight with you guys.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're speaking of the worthlessness of Core. As a PlayStation Plus subscriber, I actually, if I were still stuck at, pay for it if you want to see it, I probably wouldn't. But as a part of PlayStation Plus, I do look at every episode. And every section that is on a game I'm interested in, I check it out. This week, case in point, Sorcery. I saw information in this episode of Core in depth on Sorcery that I've seen nowhere else. And now this outlet for gaming information, it's dried up. I don't know that they'll replace it with anything similar.
But and it's not Sony's fault. It's the company making Core's fault.
Yeah, Future Publishing they've got their own money pit that they're trying to dig their way out of. But what I'm saying is I didn't understand your comment when I said it was going away, and you're like, good. I mean, you didn't watch it. It wouldn't cost you anything for the other people to still watch it.
You want people to lose their jobs. You're a monster.
Poor Jesse Blaze Snyder lost his job.
Yeah, good.
I'm actually fine with that part.
Yeah.
I miss Veronica Belmont.
I miss her too. She was actually on this episode in flashbacks.
She was. That's so funny. Like, the guy had maybe 10 episodes on Core or less than that.
I know.
Maybe 5 episodes, and he's like, we're going to look back and see all the places we've been. He's not in a
see
single
all the episodes
thing.
that I'm not in.
It's all Veronica. It's great. And the funny thing is, next week, stay tuned next week, where it's our final episode ever. It's like, you sound so enthusiastic about that. I'm sure he was on contract and he got paid out for whatever, like maybe 10 to 20 episodes or something. But
they probably just put a pink Post-it note on his door and ran away.
I just don't understand why they couldn't just have that 48th episode to have an even 4 years. But man, it doesn't seem like 4 years.
He was on there so fast, I don't think he could put it on his resume. That sucked.
So, speaking of sorcery, Pac-Man, I would be interested in maybe 15 or 20 seconds of your renewed thoughts now that we've had some sorcery footage released.
I can't believe I'm saying this.
Oh.
But the new footage was actually pretty good.
Oh.
I don't think it's going to turn out to be, like some 90 on Metacritic, but I don't think it's going to be the bottom of the barrel throwaway, motion control games that we usually get. Like, it'll probably pull 75, maybe even an 80. And
it's going to be a system seller.
It doesn't look like the sort of silly. It looks way better than it did when we first saw it. I think E3 was the first time we saw the footage. Way back when.
It looked kiddie then, though. It looked a lot kiddie. It's a little bit more mature this time around, I think.
Oh my god. It's more mature spells and demons.
It does look more mature. It's not like a Harry Potter ripoff.
Frawlz, did you like Harry Potter?
I like the movies.
Well, I don't mean personally. He's fiction.
Wait, what? No, I don't know him at all.
Oh my god, never mind. Jesus
as a
Christ.
person, or even as a made-up character, I'm not familiar with.
I've never met the made-up character.
I don't know his likes or dislikes.
Jesus Christ.
Does he like pizza? I don't know.
We are running out of time. Let's see what topics we have left here. Well, if anybody is upset that Sony took away their right to sue them in exchange for them agreeing to use PlayStation Network, the courts ruled Sony was within their rights to change the PSN's terms of service to make you agree to not class action sue them. I mean, we all kind of figured that was the case, but it's been pushed in court. A judge said, yeah, that's fine. They can change their mind. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cause you irreparable damages or financial loss, so deal with it.
I'm ashamed.
I was reading somewhere that the amount of class action lawsuits that are successful is some like infinitesimally small number compared to the amount that are actually put up there.
It's the threat, the internet threat. I'm going to file a class action lawsuit. No, you're not. It requires work, money, and you're not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah, it does.
All right, let's see here. We got some Vita news real briefly. The Vita is not doing well in Japan. For the first time since its launch, it dropped into the 4-digit sales for the month. They sold... Maybe that's per week. That can't be per month. Anyway, 8,931 units sold, which sadly is below the PSP, which was still around 14,000.
Which is also way below the Nintendo DS 3D.
What I wonder what the new numbers are for North America.
Yeah, they have not released any of those numbers. Across the board globally, though, March took a hit over expectations in previous months. But also, the last topic for the Vita, this one's somewhat interesting. The PlayStation Vita portable charger is coming out April 30th for $49.99. And it's your typical rechargeable USB battery pack. I've got one of these, but this one must have enough juice to be able to charge the PSV while it plays, because a typical USB connection from a computer can't charge it while it plays. You can charge from it, but there's not enough juice to run it and charge it at the same time, yet this external battery pack does. And you can plug anything else like a smartphone into this. So they say it gives you an extra 4 to 7 hours of Vita playtime on a charge.
That's not bad.
For $50, I mean, you're limited in your options. I think it could be a lot worse. So, I mean,
that's something I'll almost certainly get, because I will definitely be one of the people who really maximizes the usage.
I'll be interested to see if one of the third-party accessory makers comes out with a super one, though. Because, I mean, if you're carrying a brick around anyway, you might as well carry a bigger brick and get something substantial, like that'll last you all
Man,
day.
I used to rock the Game Gear, so this is nothing. Game Gear was like working out.
All right, Frawlz, we got time for one roomah.
Yeah, the rumors. Yeah, just do it. Yeah, 16 computers and Microsoft.
It's not even PlayStation related.
I know it's not. It's awesome.
Okay, this rumor is it's a revamp of the Microsoft Xbox 360 follow-up machine. This rumor says that the machine is going to pack 16 CPU cores, which
That's a lot of CPUs.
that is a lot of CPUs.
That is 16.
That is 16. So, I mean, it could be that's a fairly unqualified statement because, I mean, if you look at the core processor or the cell processor with all of its cores and the general processing unit, you could say that's an 8-core processor. Or 7, depending on whether you count the extra SPU that's used.
Powerful.
But if it's 16 general computing core processors, like what's in the i7, if it's got a quad core, if it's like having 4 quad core general purpose processors, damn, that would be fast and it would run hot and it would be expensive, but it would be chugging out some stuff. It'd
Just like
impressive.
the hordes you get.
That I don't know. I don't think that's what it is. I don't believe that.
You know what I realized, though? A previous rumor we had talked about Sony going with an AMD x86 processor to be more in line with PC development, yet the current Xbox 360 is a PowerPC chip, which is not compatible with x86 chips or code or anything, and they're talking about going to an additional 16-core PowerPC chip. I just find it odd that the other rumor says that Sony would be jumping from one architecture that doesn't match what the developers are doing for the 360 to a complete other architecture that doesn't match what they're doing for the 360, but at least would match what they're doing for PC. Makes me wonder if all these, I mean, they're probably not all true. Maybe none of them are true.
Yeah, it's probably some weird mix of the information we're getting.
Yep. All right, it is time for the shout-outs.
Shout-outs.
I want to give a shout-out to Overland Miner, who he compared us. Let's see if I can remember this. He called me Andre Agassi. He called Pac-Man Vanilla Ice. Oh, crap. Now I'm not going to remember what he called you, Frawlz.
Probably just awesome.
I'm most certainly sure it was not awesome. Anyway, he made some funny comparisons, and I forgot the funniest one. I want to give a shout-out to LL Cool Che, to Lynx Lapdance, and Oruth Rumhammer. Oruth Rumhammer actually had a request, Frawlz, and it goes a little something like this.
Awesome.
So that was for him.
What?
Yeah. Got any shout-outs, Frawlz?
I'm going to give a special shout-out to Black Raven 07 from the U.S., Martin Piney 123, right? From the UK. Black Bear Pac-Man.
No, it's not Black Bear.
Yeah, well, I don't know where you got that from. Racist. Racist.
It's Bareback.
Bareback Pac-Man. Wow. That's even worse.
It is actually even worse.
From the BRB community. Anzolia or Zaria or Areola.
That's not Areola.
What is it?
I said it's not Areola.
It's a lot of OIEAs with an X at the beginning of it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is what he called you, so it wasn't as funny as I thought. It was the obvious name. Oh, and actually, I attributed that comment to somebody else. Baba G said that. Which is Pac-Man's first shout-out, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, man. Number one.
I'd like to give a shout-out to, as previously mentioned, Baba G from the UK. Shout out to number one App
Baba
Raider
G
from the UK. The most awesome name ever.
Who App Raider, who wants us to keep up the dick jokes. Double zing on the double entendre. Shout out to I guess Vague.
Vague, yeah, it's pretty vague. From
the BRB community, and shout out to Mystic IP from the Twitters. And in Gamer Night news, the big Gran Turismo 5 Gamer Night is this weekend, April 14th, 10:30 p.m. GMT. If you go to the dynamic calendar on the front page of BigRedBarel, you can click on the calendar where it says Gran Turismo 5 Gamer Night, and it'll give you all the information, all the contact information. Jedi Junkie is hosting it. There's prizes. There's a whole bunch of different race setups. So it's going to be quite the little Gran Turismo 5 showdown.
You make people of different races play in different games? That's kind of racist. But I encourage everyone who's interested to come out. Everything's set up so that however much you've played or not played won't affect how much fun you can have in the gamer night. And I will also do my very best to take part with Jedi Junkie. But thank you, men, for setting that up. Hey, Frawlz, do you know how they start the races?
How?
Zing!
Yeah.
All right, so I have no news on the new podcasting app. So if you got it already,
but when it does finally come out, there's apparently some really great bonus content to go back and listen to.
You know, it's funny. Why don't we just do this for free? Just give it away for free, because it's like it's not like it really matters. The people who have it already paid for it, and the people who want to buy it can't.
Well, but it's going to come out, and they will have access to all the backlog of bonus content.
And the backlog is actually kind of cool because it's all single topics that you can just sort of go back and sift through.
Well, we're about to record some more bonus content, so we will see you guys next week.
We're gonna nuke them from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Yep. Episode
Frawlz in your mouth and core.
Stay frosty, everybody.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.